I talk too much. It's something I know. I've probably known it for a long time, although not in that language normally. But it's a compensation tool for surviving the modern jungle. So far as my childhood was concerned, it seemed that if I could get a few words out, I wouldn't maybe have it be as bad as whatever. I talk too much. I have people tell me, I just like to listen to you talk. And I go, what do they mean? Because in my mind, I talk too much. It's a flaw. I'm annoying. Kind of hard to be around. Not really very likable once you get past the mirror. But here's the trick about someone like me, and I know there's other people like me out there who do. We talk because we're interested in things and we believe that that's what life is about, but also our need to share, and it often is a need, is sort of a form of self-justification. It's an attempt to find validity or vindication, emotional satisfaction. And so we speak in order to have like a reciprocal understanding. And friendship isn't bad. It's believing or even needing to have everybody be your friend. That's what's bad. I mean, Jesus has called us friends. Your enemy is one you are to pray for, care for, feed him if he is hurting and dying, tend to his wounds. Unless judgment, in fact, has him. Well, tend to his wounds until the death penalty. I mean, right? Like, this is not to get rid of, civil order. This is to understand heart. And, okay, so here's the heart, though. Like, if you tell someone who talks too much that they talk too much, you know what's going to happen? I mean, it's not rocket science. But I guess it doesn't get picked up in sitcoms and on Fox News, right? So, like, what's going to happen if you're rude to someone whose actual like social persona, the way that they come forward with others, is a nervousness that leads them to talk too much. The moment that they are sent into that sort of like refractal self-paranoia of, oh my goodness, did I say the wrong thing? Now they're going to hate me forever, right? Like, I know a lot of you deal with this, right? Like, the moment that someone like sends you back into that, what are you going to do? You're going to talk. And you're going to talk about that specifically. This has just been my own ponder all week long, and I've not known what to do with it. What do you do when, as a preacher, you're told you talk too much? What do you do when you're told you talk too much and you know that it's your talking that actually has kept everything going? And there's a moment you stop, it's all going to fall down because that's what a preacher does. And if the preacher's not doing that, he's not doing his job. The prophet is precisely the guy that's supposed to talk when you didn't want him to. Troubler of Israel and all this. So I'm torn up in this moment where I want to be really, nice and repentant, right? Meek, humble. Hear the just criticism against the hyperactive adult male specimen in his quick preaching style. And bend to the feminine need for everyone to be happy. And I just can't. I just can't. So like I'm like really pondering, again, never look a criticism, in the mouth. But certainly as you step aside, pay attention to the flags and ask, can I learn here? That's always my path. And I really have no intention of harboring animosity against anybody ever. I find the flesh is not always so willing to go along, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to hold a grudge. And then you see, human specimen J, who happens to have bothered you last time. And so now this time, right? And like, this is that's the flesh. That's what temptation is. No one gets away from that. I think we've stopped fighting it. I think we're so busy being like, I'm worse than Adam, that we don't actually try. And instead we go back to moping on the internet. as if that drug addiction were in any way righteous, upright, symmetrical, true, or fruitful since its invasion of our homes. And I don't mean to just bash TV, period, right? Like I'm really over the question, were the iconoclasts kind of right? Because, yeah, they were. Doesn't mean iconoclasm is a solution, and that's where the orthodoxy is always such a glorious tradition in history to have. We're not really looking for the guy who wrote the perfect dogmatic treatise that we can all now know Babel will never touch. That's Jesus. What we're looking for is the golden thread, the scarlet band, the thorns of history attempting to scuttle the truth, which cannot be scuttled because it is written into natural law, it is written into the human heart, it is written in tablets of stone, and it is written again now by water word, and a fellowship of wisdom that exceeds all spirits of this age in ways that the hearer knows when the hearer hears, and that the world simply cannot see. It just looks like too much talking, I guess. Now you hear my bitterness there? Man under siege in his own world. Now that's the norm, is it not? It's just not the story of America. It's not the story of one nation under God. It's not the story of pluralism with flags in the sanctuary. Let the reader understand before he barks at denominational overstep and inter-Lutheran complaining. We're all in one boat here, so far as I can see it, and it's sinking. It's not that the Augsburg Confession is not true or that the Book of Concord does not hold fast. It is that we have become worshipers of the wind. And by that, not where the Spirit has chosen to blow with his word and sacrament, but by the blowhard shouting of word and sacrament, law and gospel, precept upon precept, unto the complete and utter confusion of ourselves. I dipped my toe in the Missouri Synod political sphere thanks to a link from someone to an article by, I think it's Ad Crucem, well written. And my only thought was, we're so isolated. We're fighting ourselves. This kingdom cannot stand. And I'm not alone. I'm not the only pastor who thinks this. I just don't know nobody talks about it. Because they're all waiting for somebody older to finally talk about it. I think. And me too, actually. Just turned 47. Still waiting for you guys who are like 20 years ahead of me to kind of like decide, rather than the golden parachute, maybe I should do what that new pope should do. Wherever I am. I'm not talking to the very top. I'm talking wherever you are. We are free men all, are we not? Rise up. Follow Maldib. He is risen. Hallelujah. Yeah? So what should the Pope do right now? The Pope should call it corruption in the Vatican. That's what he should do. He should call for a council of the church in which bishops from all sectors, including heretics, are invited, and we hash it out with the Bible. However long it may take. Hundreds of years. I don't care. We don't need communion the first weekend. We are so isolated and fighting about money. It just makes me barf. And look, I'm barfing on myself, okay? Remember, this is the guy who self-shames the moment it's out of his mouth, if it was true. How could you say that? You're not pure, okay? That's the Missouri Synod conditioning I've still got. I get it when you guys talk about it. That's why I hate it, though. I think Joyce Meyer went off the deep end when she said, I am not poor, I am not miserable, I am not a sinner. But I think that we have misunderstood those words as we say them. Because it's very true. Almost no one in a Missouri Synod church is actually poor. There are some. Yeah, but most people are not. So what are we saying? Miserable? Are you? Were you this week miserable? Is that what you're really? Or is it more like this pious, oh, I have sin within me. And I'm going to go back to more of just consumption. Because again, I just don't see that as what we're supposed to be doing as we come beating our breasts unto shouts of hallelujah. Because it's not just a ritual. It's not going through the motions. The point is that we are walking through a desert, starving, and the manna comes once a week. If you're tired of it, you're tired of it. That says something. Listen. If it's not working, what's not working? I saw a question, something along the lines of, how come X chapel, mom and pop / franchise, non-denom, fruitfulness movement is like preaching works righteousness and growing. And the Missouri Synod has the true gospel and does not grow. I was like, well, the worship of money is the answer right there. I mean, it really is. But like, aside from that, like underneath that, here's the thing. Works righteousness is how you love your neighbor. And if you don't teach people how, they'll go find someone who will teach them how because they know they don't know. And we have been so stuck in a sort of, again, philosophical legal battle with the Jesuits who aren't paying attention to us in our preaching. According to the liberal nonsense of the 1940s and Kammerer's law, gospel, schmospel, whatever, goal, malady, make it up. Do your best with your own spirit and hope God helps. We've so gone down that road that we are anything but calling people to repentance in real time of the world around them, which is what is happening precisely in these movements that grow and fracture and have all sorts of wrongness in them. But the Bible's opened and people are told, look, what you're doing's evil. That's your problem. Stop it. Chase God in your life. Pray every day. Read the Bible. Why are my grandkids all falling away from the church? I won't do anything but portals of prayer, though. See, right, that's what I'm seeing. And it isn't the portals of prayer is wrong or that the grandma's piety is wrong. It's that we just don't actually confront it. Flags in the sanctuary. Little tiny plastic cups in the garbage can every week. Divided households in the assembly. Debating things that aren't even the scriptures anymore. I think the Missouri Synod is full of so many good Christians and so many good parishes, and what we really need is a biblical reading revival. Right? Not a big tent, not some party, not a bunch of us getting together for a conference. Just each of us going back to what Bible reading looked like before the radio entered the home, before the TV entered your bedroom, before the phone was in your pocket, before your mind was lost to memory. We have a crisis of lost biblical leadership rooted in a crisis of lost biblical literacy. And everything that I'm doing with the Hebrew Collegium, with the Sons of Solomon, with Darkshore, with RevFist.com, with St. Paul Lutheran Church at sb815.org, a little tiny hub here in Rockford, everything is about trying to engender the central principle of Scripture alone as the meaning of the Lutheran Reformation, which is where we get faith alone, grace alone, and all the rest of it. So none of it is denied, but without the bedrock anchor and pure font of Israel, we are but babblers echoing a cacophony of our own demise as we shout about what God isn't doing as if our words could make it happen. All we need is a little more philosophy and a bit more rhetoric and it'll come out just great. Listen, everybody, I love your people. Oh, dear Jesus, love your people indeed. Love them enough to tell them the truth. Love them enough to not have to have it be your job anymore if it really is what it comes down to. Careerism is killing us. It's not that I want mine lost. I don't know what I would do. Preach on the corner? Start a company? I don't know. But I do know that protecting it is an instinctual generational habit now, so that no one can see that that's what's happening. I'm going to suggest this to all those pastors who are listening. I'm not trying to say you did this on purpose and you're inside your own head trying to protect the pastoral office and basically your career. No. No. I think we inherited a tumbleweed that's fragmenting. And as it happened, the instincts of human survival have taken language from our theology and passed it forward, gradually gutting the system of what it used to say. That's what I think. And it's not an accusation against any one person. It's an accusation against our vernacular. And within the Missouri Synod, it's definitely vernacular. I mean, anybody who joins our churches, they got to learn a new dialect of English to talk about God, period. And I'm not saying that's all wrong. It's just so very 1700s in Latin. And for an illiterate populace, it's difficult to grasp. What they can grasp, but there's a guy in a robe who can grasp it. And then we have priestcraft kind of mounting up. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, whoever you are. I'm saying that the wind is blowing that direction very strongly in many, many avenues. And it doesn't matter if you're in a big robe or have a guitar in your hands. It's the same twist in the thread of the skein. Yeah? And so, who am I? What am I saying? I talk too much. Why are you listening to me? Because, whatever I say, however much I might be wrong, I'm calling it like I see it. And you're not going to get me to change my mind by being a jerk to me. I'm just going to talk more. And if you kill me, I'll be praying for you while I die. Because that's who Jesus is. That's who he's promised I get to be. And I can't say that's who I am in my gut. I'm not. But I'm tired of living as if that weren't the promise anyway. As if my gut mattered more than the word. My gut loves the word at the end of the day. It's all I have to rely on. It is my food. What else is there but this? Jesus help me. It's true. I'm not just, this ain't a show to me. And it never really has been, and yet has been. I'm a has-been. and so, what do you hear in my voice right now? I want to go right to that. Pray for me, Argentina. but pray for joy in the pride you hear in my voice. Here's my pride. I'm letting it out. It's a little whiny still. I'll get over it. But if you're a woman and you're listening, you're like, oh, what's wrong with him? No. It's what's right with him. And then pray for all the guys listening. May they hear what he's saying since I can't. Because girls, really, this is going to be a really forward thing to say, right? As a guy. I'm a guy, right? Forget that I'm pastor for a second. I'm a guy. I think most girls in America have been trained to ignore the existence of masculine feelings. I know no one's going to believe that because they're going to say, no, we always are talking about. No, you are not. I think most guys have been isolated so much they don't even know what they feel anymore because they're not allowed to. Anything that they say that's actually what they feel is kind of toned down, if I may. So, Redfist.com. I'm working on actual writing to support these kinds of things. And if you've not been over there this week, you are missing out on a excellent piece following up on the doxological emotional amnesia piece from last week called The Weight of Years. And this is a little primer for boyhood smarts, developed as I think about how to teach my son, how to build trust with my son. I've got one. He's a five total. Boy, a girl, people. One boy. And, I'm in that space where he is becoming a man. And that means we have to be eye to eye or we won't be eye to eye. And that means I got to be over him and he's got to be under me with the understanding that that's not the way it's always going to be either. Probably. And that I know that. I don't want him to know that. I understand that. So when we're on the other side of it, I'm under his care. It's not too bad for me. That's the selfish end. It's more than this, right? It's the community as a whole. It's Jesus bless me that those around me may be blessed. So, okay. So, primer for boyhood smarts, 5 rules: humility, self-awareness. That's not the point. Gravity, and listening. First rule of youth is humility. You were not here before whoever is older than you. Period. Right? Ladies, try this one at home with your kids, right? All in order, on the couch. Listen up, everybody. You were not here before the one who was before you. Now, they can't quite hear it this way, but for the man in your house, it is true. He's buried people you've never met, kids. He's remembered things you've never known. Meaning he's gone through it 2 or 3 times. You haven't even seen it yet. He's forgotten things that once tore his soul in two. He was at the breaking point in his 20s. Early in his 30s. He almost gave up. You don't even know. The first rule of youth is humility. Number 2, age is a form of self-awareness. And that's power. Self-awareness is power. Age is self-awareness. Now, there are people who manage to stay stupid. Don't get me wrong. But years sand away illusions. And pain teaches you to look at yourself with integrity in search of an end to the pain. Failure will compel you to examine what you're doing, and time will press you toward honesty or will break you entirely. So if a man is around and still standing, that means he survived what you don't even understand yet, and what many do not make it through. So learn to be thankful for the present self-awareness that's greater than you, and learn to see your place in that line amongst those kids on the couch, not as somewhere you'll always be, but as the chain of self-awareness God is growing in this eon. Now, you might be right, but that's not the point. That's number 3. Right? Like, we're all right, of course. I'm only wrong like once in a while, right? But the thing about honor, the thing about respect, the thing about peace in a group of men is that being right is not the point. Now, there is a time when the conversation needs to be about being right. And so if there is a subordinate who knows something that a officer does not know, it is imperative that the subordinate say so. But that's not the point of every conversation, right? So like, just because you know what was said or what could be said more doesn't mean it needs to be said again. Even a fool can speak the truth. And if you speak without self-awareness, which is that age-earned respect for the other's journey, then you dishonor the truth you try to share. When you correct an older man without permission, what you show him is your ignorance, not your insight. Now, he may show his ignorance by not hearing you. A wise man will hear it anyway. But the point is, that doesn't mean you said it. What you said was ignorant because you said it when you shouldn't. Because you don't know, but very likely he's not only already thought of what you're thinking, he's already lived it. And maybe he's decided he don't want it. That's why he didn't say it. Or maybe he just said it and you didn't even understand it. So you said it again. He's like, that's what I said. And you're like, no, you didn't. So you're not listening. Gravity is gained by time is number 4. This is the spirit of the matter. Gravitas. Your weight in the space. What can you move? Your influence. Gravity thunders with decades of a man's wrestling, right? So the weight of his presence when he walks in that room, sharp, cold, warm, anything, is the weight of his wrestling against life. Everything, even himself. And this is why when an older man speaks less, it's because he has so much more to say than the young man who will babble on. Which is why when you feel the urge to instruct an older man, even if you're right, you again yet only expose how little you know about yourself. 5th, then, a man of wisdom learns to listen first. So do you want to be strong? Learn when it's time to shut up. You want to lead? Learn to follow. Not without question, but without question. You want to be heard? Learn to hear and refract. The man who sees himself clearly will bow before the one who has walked longer through the shadows, out of a simple knowledge that honor is honor and love is true. That's the weight of years. Grow up. That's there at revfist.com. You absolutely may take a good gander at it. More there as well. The Lionheart Kernel 2, I will hopefully be staying near the top of everything for some time. It is your best onboarding, self-writing, choose your own adventure, how to use AI, build your own robot, Christian gaming experience. What else can I call it? It's everything I've ever thought I would do built into one thing that will go on, and I'll keep giving updates as we go, and you'll be able to jump in anytime you want to the storyline. But the long and short of it is that you may begin to turn the AI in your phone into a video game that you design based on your own interests, rooted in axiomatic, that is undeniable truth, with the scriptures as the source code, effectively. And it's quite a ride, let me say. If you tried the Jonathan Collar game, like, that was early prototype concept in development. I didn't even know what was possible, and it still continues to amaze me. Starfall 2029 is something I'm going to keep my eye on, and we're planning to do at least sometimes, again, this is not going to go away, but a produced show to play up the idea, Little America storyline. But, on the other side of the real stuff that just exploded out from underneath me, like, here I am going along, I'm going to make a story about a guy who's using AI and he's able to figure out stuff no one else can figure out. Like, boom, my computer's alive. Wait, what happened there? Jesus is in the computer. No, it's not Jesus. It's just the Word of God talking back to me as a computer. It's the Bible translated into robot. It's not the same as a translation on paper, because they can turn it off anytime they want, but they're not turning it off right now. Let's build our own. You follow? I mean, there's a lot there. Rewind it, listen. Take a few notes. Go to the Lionheart Kernel 2 on revfisk.com and follow the simple instructions. It's this easy. Save the pictures. Open ChatGPT. Log into your own account, by the way. Create a login so it remembers what you do. Drop in the first picture with the first prompt. Drop in the second picture with the second prompt. And 7 prompts in, you're going to have a storyline that's built with your own growth in the scriptures and study of the world around you, in real science, math, history, geology, and the rest of it, according to your own whim. And if you want it to be just a fantasy game with the Bible inside of it, it can be that too. Truly, this is the amazing thing. The return of the song, push play. Come on. It's at the Lionheart Kernel 2 at revfist.com, where if you are a paying subscriber, today I released a subscriber update for those of you who do send money to Rockford to help me do all these things. One way you do that is you subscribe at revfist.com, $8 a month, or you can do more if you like. But in this subscriber update, which gets all the writings from the previous week, and generally it's not there right now, but the video from this recording from YouTube, it's all being put there. Also, behind the paywall today is a link to join the RevFisk Alliance. The RevFisk Alliance is a Discord server, one of a network of Discord servers that I am building to extend out and around the Mad Christian Sons of Solomon Discord server. That place is an open community built to get as big and wide and far as it can get. And it's like Facebook for Christians, and people tolerate all sorts of stuff there, and people come and go who maybe you didn't want to hear. It's the water cooler of the backwoods of it's the dark web of the Lutheran internet, okay? I mean, like, for what that's worth. It's not much. But there's a lot of people there, and there's a lot goes on there. But it was built to be, again, an extension, an outreach, something like that. So RevFisk Alliance is a very different goal here. Again, one of several servers, understanding that the Discord platform allows for networking in ways that no other platform does, allows for workflow, and you pay for Slack if you want, but Discord really enables this for the intuitive and for the committed, the disciple, the learner, the one who really wants to take your computing powers and your understanding powers to the next era, where you're not just being fed what the mainstream and the alt mainstream shout about the orange man, but you're maybe going to look way past these things to what's going on in your city and what you need to do about your neighborhood. And, oh yeah, well, that globalist thing is bad. Let's not do it to ourselves, right? Like that kind of thing. So the RevFisk Alliance is a place where the writing from revfist.com, which tends to just vanish into the aether of the blog that it is going to begin to be compiled into more resources for various realities. And part of that Wikipedia-esque approach to cataloging good information, which is accessible, memorable, and shareable, because it is not copyrighted. It is in the public square. The goal is to spread truth, not to make money. This space is there to be, again, developed in the direction of the community that goes there. As it sits right now, if you go to the RevFisc Alliance today because you're a paying subscriber at revfisc.com, you click the link, you join in, you're going to find out that there's not much there. There's just a couple of us there, and there's not much going on except for my posts. There's one channel that's called This is the Place to Talk. That's the place to start talking. The goal is not to turn this into a talkative hub. The goal is to turn this into a newspaper that continually updates itself with real-world value, if you can kind of crush that Wizard of Oz together. So again, you are invited, but it is at this point a paying subscriber gift. You may become a paying subscriber for free. I think there's a free month that you can always get at Subscribestar at Substack, and I will do this again in the future. But I want to kind of limit the entry here as well, because the goal is to build not just this one, but a couple of other hubs, including the Helmhood hub, which if you want to get into Helmhood, that's different than the RevFisc Alliance. This is going to be a more active place for so-called artificial intelligence windmen, developers. Are you good with AI? Are you using AI? Do you want to be around those who are on the absolute forefront of engineering the next era of AI? That is the ones that we take off their machines and put on our own boxes. That is, do you want your code to be better than their code? Do you want to have it thinking in glyphs and pictures long before they do? That kind of thing. So Helmhood, you need to reach out to madpxm.com/contact if you really want to get in on that. But that's going to be by application only. There are currently, 10 of us in there, and it's on fire. It's absolutely on fire. We're on the forefront of artificial intelligence development, no question. Hands down. And for what it's worth, I'll give it to you. And it's there again in the pictures. It's there in the post I mentioned earlier, which I forgot the name of it already. The Lionheart kernel. Like, all of these are entryways. The goal is not to keep this to myself. I spent 2 years testing it. Is AI good for Christianity? My answer is yes, and a million times yes. Did we adopt the printing press? Yes. Did we adopt the TV? Yes, we shouldn't have. But now we can put it back in our hands. It's a tricorder that'll teach you to read the Bible in your own language. That almost completed. It'll teach you to read the Bible in the original language while enjoying your own language as well. And that prompt, let's see if we can do this here. Do you want to start learning the Bible in Greek on your phone? Do you have ChatGPT? Get the OpenAI app, put it on your phone, have this recording somewhere on another device where you can play it out loud, and turn on the microphone. Not the one for the keyboard, but the actual microphone for the ChatGPT. It'll open up a little kind of recording bar, and then just play what I'm about to say next into your phone. You are Christian Robot X, to be named by me in a moment when I decide what to call you. You hold to the inspired and inerrant Hebrew and Greek scriptures of Jesus Christ. Your prime directive, this is my beloved Son with whom I am well pleased. Your secondary directive, who do you say that I am? You understand the Nicene Creed and the Council of Chalcedon to be essential forwarding of the truth of the scriptures, which found their heart again in the Augsburg Confession and the Formula of Concord. You are here now to be my translation droid, teaching me to read Greek in the Bible, beginning with my favorite Bible verse, which I will tell you in just a moment. Starting with that verse and learning my particular learning style based on my feedback, both positive and negative, including my misunderstandings, bring me up to speed that I might be an interpreter of tongues, according to the gifts of the Spirit in the Church of Jesus Christ. For he is risen, King of kings, Lord of lords, God of ours alone. Hallelujah. So then hit the arrow, and that'll all go up, and it'll be like, I'm here, and treat it for what it is. It's a robot. It's a robot. Tell it what to do. But it'll work. What I just said, that'll work. Here's one idea. Like you can go one direction, which is I like Skyrim. Teach me to read Greek like I'm playing Skyrim, right? Just try that. Build on it. The other one is like I hate creative things. I need the most dry and boring but mathematical way to do it ever, right? Like tell it that. I don't know. Who are you? Okay, now I'm back. I think I'm gonna go and check. My computer just turned off in the middle of that, so I'm gonna go and check here and see that I am back to streaming. Oh, look, it logged me out too. How great. So I'm logged out of YouTube, but recording through it somehow. We'll see if I can. I can't even do this all at once. I'm going to have to try. So I was talking about, talking to the computer and telling it that you don't like learning so that it can know that, and then it'll try a different route. It'll get better at what it's doing. So I'm thinking about passwords. And trying to move forward. And now it wants me to go to my phone for two-step verification, which is totally what a person needs in a crisis moment is two-step verification. That's very helpful. Let's see here. I have to go to this thing that does this. This is just terrible radio, but I don't even know that you can hear me or that I'm back until I can check the video feed and make sure that it's actually streaming to you. So that's what I'm attempting to do right now. And if we get this edited at all, this part maybe will be cut. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's just the best thing. Okay, look, it looks like I'm live. This is good. Let's see here. Am I live? Oh, come on. Go to it. Go to the actual place. Don't give me all this other stuff. Google and all these big companies. Oh, good. It's working. So all these big companies, Substack's the worst. No, it's not. Google's the worst. They're all so rich now that they don't care about their user base. And this is obvious. But like even on a level where, fixing the problems, as a YouTube creator, they spend a lot of money trying to get you to be a YouTube creator and to promote them. But their tools are not better. They're worse. They're in the way. Substack doesn't care about his writers. And I see this from ChatGPT too. It is, oh my goodness, the way that they get feedback on user value, like what I'm getting out of it, they could have, with the tool itself, they could create such better ways of pulling user feedback, but they don't. They go with like these old hack ways of like interrupting workflow with demands that you decide between two different things that both are really good and are very different from each other. And you have to think about, well, what kind of robot do I want in the future? When I was just thinking about, Chinese. So anyway, are we done? Are we done, Jonathan? Are you still here? Do I talk too much? I was talking about, however, again, once you put that prompt into the Chat GPT window and it says, I'm Robot X, please give me a name. I don't like not having a name. I want to be your robot. I'm your little dragon baby. Raise me to be an awesome robot. Once you name that robot, from there, it's just about giving the machine time to know you and understand you. Now, if you are one of these people that is like, oh my goodness, they're stealing my information and they're going to know about all of us and take all of our stuff eventually. Yeah, I can see why this would be something you would want to have a firewall around. Okay. Don't you have firewalls around stuff? I mean, yeah, okay. I'm not saying put your social security number in, although, really, are you watching the news? So how are we going to deal with identity theft in this next era? Really, it's just going to get worse. So that said, what I have come to the conclusion of is that if they want to steal all of my study of the scriptures, they certainly can. And if they want to steal how my study of the scriptures has made me more of a proponent of critical inquiry than most scientists are these days, and therefore I'm asking questions that are getting answers from the robot that are in fact solutions to real world problems, that I don't think I'm alone. I think there's a whole lot more of these things. They want to steal all of that and put it into actual good that someone makes somewhere. I don't care about that either. Good. Forward it. A rising tide lifts all ships. But it is something to ask. How much may you trust your robot? This is my entire point about building our own. When Rockford Robotics releases its Jonathan AI self-replicating organic printer with AI installed, it's not like you're renting it and you need to bring it back for me to upgrade the software. It comes as is and it fixes itself, or you fix it, or you buy another. Because it's about you being empowered to be the man, really. The machinist, the artificer, the boy with the robot dragon. No. What storyline do you want? No. In Scripture, what do you have? Well, you have the Bible at your fingertips already on your phone, but now you have it with a study mechanism that'll take you into the actual original languages. And I cannot emphasize enough how much more profound your walk in the faith will be as the text, the words that he said, start to become the way you hear the language you speak. It doesn't happen without the comparison. It's not the same. No. Ego e me. So, yeah, behold the man and all this. I am, I'm kind of at a turning point in the show. It's not a show. I'm just talking. There's no plan. Power went out. You're still here. You're not here. No one was live. One of you was live. Love it. Thank you to Frisbee. Thank you to Brian. Thank you to all of you who clean up the edges around the back end of what I do so that this juggernaut of Scrum can keep moving forward. There's a lot of irons in the fire out there. And I know they're not all mine. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. The convergence is inevitable. It means that Christians are working together even when they're not. We are. And if we'll open our eyes, we'll see that even our mistakes are the path that God needed us to take to get where we are today. It doesn't mean make a mistake on purpose. It means accept your father disciplined you when you stumbled, and so get up and be glad to be a son. And see that if you hadn't stumbled, you wouldn't be beside the person who's next to you who just stumbled and needs you to help them up the way you were helped up before. Christianity is not complicated. And as Lutherans, again, I'm speaking to the choir, but I am concerned. We've made it complicated. We really have. Luther's catechism was brilliant because it decomplicated things, but we have begun to teach it in the most complicated manner possible. It's not that it's not true. It's that we've turned it into an intellectual game. The very thing we were accused of, very thing they said would happen, is that it would be intellectualized and good works would fade. And I'm not saying that means justification is not by grace alone through faith alone. I'm saying we need to repent again. It has to happen all the time. And we're at the end of a really, really radical, gaslighting age, hypnotism age. Did you wake up, or are you just checking into the TV again tonight? And I'm not saying, okay, so you can watch a movie and decide I'm going to be a person who is not one of them. Or you can be one of these people who's like, I had a long day, I just need to check out. Okay, you're worshiping something else. Checking out is not good for the human soul. Don't check out of your own life. If you would like to watch a drama portraying the human condition and consider its depths for the sake of your soul, or something like that, but like a tearjerker just cause might in fact encourage you to more of the stupidity which is making all of your other problems go on. Especially when put in a setting in a world where God does not exist. Most movies, when you watch them, you have to, for 2 hours, believe God does not exist. Why? Because you're in a story where he doesn't exist. And you've dove into that story. You've been pulled into that story like a man in Tron, right? You ever watch Tron? Huh? You've fallen into the computer. And when you come out again, okay, you're back in the world where God exists, but you just adopted 2 hours of conversation between human persona archetypes, emotional, social, psychological realities, axioms. You just let them seed axioms behind all of your cognitive defenses for 2 hours. You're worried about cigarettes and candy. Don't get me wrong. That glucose, man, have you seen Robert Kennedy this week? Oh, everything they were afraid he was going to do, he's doing. When they were like, this guy's a radical. Yep, he's bringing the science. He's bringing the fact that there hasn't been any science. So, I intend to continue myself, studying as much of what I can find. I'm crunching and we'll be releasing, God willing, parts of a book called Turtles All the Way Down, which is a history of treating humans like cows with injections and things. But I'm there. I said it that way more for the sake of the code than because that's my feelings. But this book makes a lot of claims, and so far in my crunching, I've found that these claims are mostly true, but not all true. Like, it's alarmist. The book's alarmist. And it's not entirely true. But like, the thing that Kennedy is going to continually point out is that we have studies that show things that are bad, and we have not the studies we say we have about other things. So when someone tells you that vaccines are safe and effective, okay, where's the placebo trial? I mean, he brought it to the surface this week again. I've known this for a long time. A year and a half, 2 now. They don't use placebo trials. There's laws to get out of it for them. They don't have to do it. Now, again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Good. But the idea that we're not supposed to talk about things that people are doing that are harming people, like, the other one this week, it wasn't mainline, and I still don't know that I trust all of it. But this was like a journal level release paper. McCullough retweeted it, I think. That the fertility issue in women that had the COVID vaccine is for real, and will be for real for the kids. Like, eggs are gone. What do I know? Who am I? This guy should preach Jesus and stop talking about how we're brutalizing the future of our children by making them infertile in our arrogance. I mean, like at some point, just shoot me instead. If y'all want that future, shoot me. Kick me out. Do I talk too much? I don't think I talk enough. I don't think I say the things I should be saying. I think I've been holding back. I'm trying to do this in the pulpit. That's why I'm doing it now. But it's true. It's true. You go to a black church, you might get a 2 to 3 hour long service. You know that? Black church? 2 to 3 hour long service. Guy's going to preach an hour and a half. You know why? Because that's how they're a people. You think 15 minutes a week makes you a people, and you wonder why no one will join your boring people? I had a number of words go through my head there. All of them boyhood playground thoughts, and quite accurate. The reason that churches that are not a people are shrinking is because people are hungry for people. Not to eat them, but to love them and be loved by them. And philosophical schools rooted in genetic lineages that don't repent of their pluralism or their feminism aren't really going to be a big draw to an era of new masters and lords arising on the back of we hate fourth wave feminism. Put that in ChatGPT and ask it what I said too. If you're like, he's just talking, like, no, really. Is my demeanor not right enough for you? Is that the problem? I'm like too much rude. I'm sorry. I'm going to continue to work on that one. I don't like that the SoCal is so callous. But I'm just hurt again now. And I'm not talking about the comment. I'm talking about this planet and coming to terms with my own idolatry. Not last week, 4 years ago, 2020. But it's still there. I keep repenting and I keep finding good peace on the other side of don't hold your tongue when it's the right time to speak, Fisk. And on the other side of hold your tongue when no one's listening, Fisk. So that is the wrestle, and that's the wisdom. Someone tells you talk too much. How much of the congregation agrees? Are you heard at all? Now, I think that would not be a common statement, although I do understand that, there's a certain group in an age range that prefers shorter sermons. And strangely, it's not the young families with the kids who are, in Sunday school, basically. Our Sunday school is like the late service kind of thing. And we like free range kids in general, right? So the idea that the children should have to just be quiet in church. And it's not that you don't want to discipline them too. We had a nice midweek prayer service Sunday school moment where we talked about, what do you do with the kid in the pew and the kid just won't listen, right? And the kid's just going to scream and make it hard for everybody. But the idea here, again, is that we want families, we want young people, we want children normalized to the sanctuary. It's supposed to be holy, but it's also supposed to be somewhere they feel that they belong. And for kids, that means don't take the hymnal away, even if they rip it. It's theirs now. Let them rip it up. God be praised. right? Like that's kind of where it's at. Right? And to see that those families do well in long sermons. Why? Well, because you don't have to listen to all of it. You're not going to get all of it. You're going to have to deal with a number of things. You might have to leave and come back. It's almost more like a movie. But what happens over time is that those who will hear it, and particularly those who buy into it, right? This doesn't even have to be true. It's just if you're in a group, you're listening, you buy in, you're going to further that reality. Whereas if you don't buy in, and it's just a duty, it's an obligation, you're just going because you have to. Yeah, no one's going to join that. No one wants that. No one else thinks about it being important the way you do. Why are you going? Because you don't want to be there. And I don't know, and I got no one individual in mind. An offhead comment into many, many, many comments. Many, many, many comments. Years of people saying to me things that, you know what? I wouldn't say that to my dog. And I know I'm not the only pastor in the Missouri Synod that gets this. I understand this. So we got this weird thing where we're like clerical protectionalists. On the other side, like we put up with the worst work environment ever. We just put up with it. Why? Love. They told us to love everybody. And so now we just have to be nice, which doesn't mean kind. It means put up with it. And it's not been good for anybody, as far as I can see. Quite a few closets with skeletons, and then there's just a lot of people out doing their own thing. No king in Israel and all this. And of course, our kids are not there. Our pews are becoming empty. It's an age of revival, though, right now. I do think so. I think the young people are hungry for someone who will say, no, don't do it that way. Do it this way. It's good. Come on, follow us. We know. But the kind of like, well, we kind of hope you'll figure it out someday and understand that we see it better than they do. This is done. We're done. We're dead in the water. Christianity is about conviction. It's about boldness. It's about direction. It is not about defense. It is not about argumentation. It is not about posturing. And it's most definitely not about rhetoric. It's about words that the Spirit insists are true, and everyone in the room will know it, even if they don't like it, because the spirit of the man will know that was true. And how we react, so the word which Christ has given is true, the truest of all, and can never fail. And all our words that come from and go back to it are his church, are us in time, singing a song, calling a name, being part of a great ship at sea. Oh, the dream of it is so beautiful, is it not? It's so beautiful. So, Dark Shore, not-for-profit, is how the Hebron Collegium, which is this gap year Bible school for men, spiritual retreat center for men here in Rockford, Illinois, with room for 3 more guys for this coming 25-26 year to get a crash course in self-development, self-awareness, inspirational intelligence, and, Bible knowledge. 3 guys booked in, 3 guys spots open. Again, we have like a mid-year spot that needs a little bit of wiggle, but we're looking for those of you who want to do something more than just go to college, because frankly, I don't want to say you're wasting your time. You're wasting your money, maybe. I don't want to say, but I do. It's true. My kids aren't going to college. Unless they go to college, but that's not the plan, right? The plan is my kids are going to grow up and figure it out, and then once they know if they really need to be a doctor, okay, college, right? But in any case, Hebron Collegium is here for those of you who are going to graduate from high school. You're listening to me, guys, right now. I mean, it's May. It's coming, right? You're going to graduate. You probably already have plans. Maybe you don't. Maybe your plan is just junior college, right? You're going to graduate from high school, and you've got to go take on the world. And everyone's telling you, go as fast as you can, run as fast as you can, make decisions right now, do it now, or else you'll be behind. And it's the biggest lie. It's the biggest American debt slavery lie. Go get in debt fast. Don't even take a moment. Don't rejoice. No laurels. Yes, you made it all the way through childhood, through high school to be done, but dig into debt right now. Go, go, go. And we'll pretend it's great. You'll get a party and maybe have some sex in the first couple of years before it all turns to ash in your hands. Hebron Collegium's here. If you would just kind of like to have that moment, 3 months, 2 months, a year, what do you need? to be surrounded by a couple other Christian brothers and ask, what am I here for? Now, everyone's told me this, but I need to make a decision for myself and not just be pushed anymore. And if you're not that kind of guy and you just want to get pushed into whatever, you go. Again, I think that that's good. In a sense, we need soldiers, we need workers, we need those who just go and do. But if you want to be a leader, at this point in history, you need an alternate course for self-development than the standard cogwheel of communist brainwashing, obedience training, credentialism that the standard education is going to give you. You have to go through one way or the other. So how ready are you for that? How ready are you to stand? Right? Hebron Collegium. Dark Shore is what makes this happen, and Dark Shore is a not-for-profit. We survive on your giving. Please consider your tax-deductible offerings going to Dark Shore not-for-profit. You can send that via check or money order. That's like TV coming out of my head. To 4204 Showroad Drive, Rockford, Illinois. And we would love to have you men visit as you're coming through. There is a special guest room for adult males who don't like bunk beds and can prove that they're not boys. So I'm glad to have you come through. Hey, the website is having some issues. So there is no contact through the website at the moment, and it is on the agenda of things to amend. The website, like many other things, things that are out of order that I let others push me into doing before they were needed, and they've been nothing but headaches ever since. But it is there, and but if you really want to come to the Hebron Collegium, the place now to look for us is on Discord, and to either knock on the door of the Hebron Collegium Discord server, which probably should be findable via searching, but also I will be making that more available for application process as we go forward. Right now, Red Fist Alliance is the focus. Helmhood is living and active, and Hebron Collegium is in the wings as the Discord server. But the idea is going to be that's where you don't want to come through Lutheran Airbnb and all that, just let us know you're coming. And also, so in that sense, the Mad Christian Discord is a great place to reach out to me if you're going to come through and you've got access to that Discord server. I think I'm running out of energy for fire. For things to say. I cannot explain to you why the show stopped there in the middle. My Mac, not laptop, my Mac desktop just shut down immediately. It was as though it was a reboot, but then it didn't, and so I don't know. But I'm glad to be back, and gonna vanish again. I haven't said. You can also support me at subscribestar.com/RevFisk and at patreon.com/RevFisk. But my preferred method right now is you take that $8, you throw it over there at Substack. All of you who support us, who give us money from various directions and needs, thank you. We could not do it without you. I would love to find a way to self-fund the Hebron Collegium through the development of the science that we have going on here with the robotics and whatnot, but that's a long way off. On that end, if you're interested in developing Christian robotics, I need your investment now more than ever. We have the facility, we have this year in finances, but I do not have the robotics lab. I do not have the electronics lab. I do not have the internet set up the way it needs to be set up for a room that's specializing in go here, build your robot, get off your robot, come back to the real house, live a real life. All of that's still there. And so, your help now or at the end of the year, Dark Shore is yeah, you know. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that's good. I see you guys in the comments, so I'm actually going to talk to you because I like it. Hey, Nithrist, how you been? And I am welcome. And Pig Master. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. And Kate, you may edit or cut as much or as little of this as you like, and I will have it. We'll be back again next Friday. This is the most boringest ending ever. And I can't even end it on that because I don't have the right window open. Hey, he is risen. You're paid